Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Eric, and welcome back to a brand new video here on the Bioshock Hub. The last time that I made a video dedicated to cut content in Bioshock, you guys absolutely loved it. And that was around 4 months ago with the Museum of Cut Content from Bioshock 1. So, I've wanted to make another cut content video for a while, and here we are. So, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 10 cut characters from Bioshock, Bioshock 2, and Bioshock Infinite. Now, quickly before that, there are a lot of characters that were cut. If you want to see a part 2 to this video, I want to see this video hit 100 likes. If you guys can do that, I will do a part 2, and hopefully, like I said, you guys do enjoy it. One last plug before we go into the video. If you guys want to go subscribe to my secondary channel, I would greatly appreciate it. It'll be down in the description and in the comments as well. So without further ado, let's hop into today's video. So guys, I just want you to know that this list was compiled in no particular order whatsoever. Number 10 is no better than number 1. I just decided to take 10 characters and compile a list. So, with that being said, coming in at number 10, we have Savants from the original Bioshock. Savants were genetically engineered enemies / bosses in an early version of Bioshock. The Savants were essentially heads in jars that were in control of the city and affected different aspects of each level in the game. Each level had its own Savant that would have to be defeated, 2 of them which were named Themis and Prometheus. The developers felt that there were too many Savant characters that didn't make any sense, and that interactions and fighting a head in a jar was not fun or logical, thus they were removed from the game. So essentially, I want you to picture the heads that are in the jars in Futurama. Essentially, that was the enemy that they wanted to put in Bioshock 1. I find that one pretty humorous. Coming in at the number 9 slot in the video are the Little Brothers. Bioshock 2 explored the concept of Little Brothers. The idea had been brought up in Bioshock with the audio diary, Why Just Girls? But no satisfactory answer had ever been given for why the Atom Gatherers were exclusively female. Ronaldo John notes in the Deco Devolution art book, they were supposed to be like little sisters, but they were failed experiments. Little brothers were supposed to be aggressive, so they couldn't be used for gathering. They would have been a little brother therapy room in the therapy wing of Inner Persephone, but that was repurposed as the pediatric wing for the little sisters. So, I'm going to let you guys listen to the audio diary, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
I know why it has to be children, but why just girls? This I cannot determine why, but I know it is so. Fontaine says, one less bathroom to build in the orphanage. It is amazing to watch the effect of Atom on their small bodies. Their own cells replaced by the new stems the instant they are damaged. These children are practically invulnerable. It is a shame you could not do the same thing to an adult. There would be quite a market for a man you could not kill.
In at the number 8 slot is Electro Gloves. Now this sounds like a badass weapon. Unfortunately, it's not. However, it is a badass looking enemy with some badass concept art, and I will put that on the screen for you guys so you can see what I mean. Anyways, the description reads, the Electro Gloves was an enemy cut from Bioshock Infinite fairly early in production. It was a powered exoskeleton with a generator that powered mechanisms on the exoskeleton's hands that enabled it to fire bolts of electricity at enemies in a fashion similar to Shock Jockey. A close examination of the pilot's face shows that he is injured and unhealthy looking. So can you imagine? Not only do you have to deal with Handymen, you have to deal with the Vox, you have to deal with Comstock's men, and you have to deal with things like firemen, etc. Imagine all on top of that having to deal with Electro Gloves as well. I think this would be a better enemy, personally, than the Handyman. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. So it seems like a popular trend that Irrational decided to take all of the badass villains out of Bioshock Infinite, which is a shame. This one in particular is my favorite on this list, and it's also probably one of the most badass looking things I've ever seen. This character is on the thumbnail of the video, and I'll put a picture on the screen now. Anyways, the description reads as follows. The Claw Daddy was an enemy that was cut from the final version of Bioshock Infinite. It was conceived as an individual wearing a crab-like exoskeleton that would grab people and rip them in half. How badass does that sound? From close-ups of the Claw Daddy, it can be seen that the pilot's face is distorted from being exposed to tears. This concept would eventually evolve into the Handyman. Personally, I would have much rather had this in the game than the Handyman. Just look how terrifying that thing is. You can't run up and melee it because it would just rip you in half, so you would definitely have to keep your distance in a fight like this. I really wish this actually made it into the final game because I think it would have been perfect in Bioshock Infinite. Hopefully we can see something like this in the next installment in the series. Let me know what you guys think of this enemy down in the comments as well. Coming in at the number 6 slot is somebody finally from a different game. This woman comes from Bioshock 2, and unfortunately it seems that she's pretty suicidal. Her name is Julianne Corona, and here is the description of her. Julianne Corona is one of the citizens of Rapture who was still alive at the end of the game when the Little Sisters were taken to the surface by either Tenenbaum or Jack at the end of Bioshock. Even though she managed to survive the Civil War, she had given into despair and longed for Rapture to flood and put her out of her misery. However, the Big Daddy repair regime ensured the city would stay standing long after society ended. Her audio diary, Too Dumb to Die, is found on the Cult of Rapture website. She is one of few characters who were cut from the final version of Bioshock 2. And now I'll let you guys listen to that audio diary.
Little sisters are all gone. I ain't seen one since who knows when. Big Daddy's still wandering around, keeping busy. I see a leak spring in a window. Then one of the big oafs wanders on by and seals it up. Like clockwork. If it weren't for them, Rapture would have been completely flooded for years, I figure. Big, dumb animals. Why can't you just let it end?
And at the number 5 slot, we actually have yet another person from Bioshock 2. This guy's name is Abram Wise, and he was a citizen of Rapture, obviously. He was one of the few who prepared himself for when the Rapture bank crash happened. He is one of the characters from Bioshock 2, obviously, who were cut during development. After the event that triggered the beginning of Rapture's Civil War, Wise started noticing the rapid decline of Rapture's golden age. Unlike the majority of Rapture's populace, he had realized that the Rapture dollar would lose its value over time. He noted the obliviousness of the citizens after seeing robbers flee from the Imago Fine Arts Gallery in Dionysus Park, carrying ladies' purses. As the Civil War deepened, which Wise referred to as the Wild West, he started storing up on Adam, instead of storing away money, as he saw a great potential in the wonder drug. So, this guy in particular definitely had his mind in the right spot. You want to sell Adam to Adam junkies? They're gonna pay a price. So, this guy was pretty damn smart, and I really wish that they would have put him and left him in the game, but I'm not the developers, so hey, I can only hope that we get somebody like him in the future. Coming in at the number 4 slot is surprisingly the only character that was removed from Bioshock 1, and that was pilot and captain Cal Franklin. Again, you guys might not even know who this is, but obviously you'll know as I start talking about him. There's not too much history on him in general, but he's more or less important to the start of the game. Obviously, you know Jack hijacked the plane, and the plane is flown by a pilot. That is Kyle Franklin. He was flying on flight DF-031, which was an Apollo Airways transatlantic flight which crashed in the mid-Atlantic in 1960. The plane was en route to London from San Francisco, carrying 89 passengers and 6 crew, including Jack. It crashed into the North Atlantic Ocean, leaving Jack the only survivor and beginning the events that took place in the game. So, that's crazy. This is the first time I've actually heard the statistics of how many people died from the plane crash. So obviously, there was 88 passengers that died because the 89th passenger was Jack. And then 6 crew members died along with the captain. So that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I never knew that. If you guys knew that, let me know down in the comment section below. I'm really interested to see how many of you guys genuinely knew that. Coming in at the number 3 slot is someone that really doesn't have too much history to them. However, they tried to do something really important in the lore of Bioshock Infinite. This guy's name is Jimmy Jampot. What a name. Anyways, he has a quote that says, "Her genes could breed criminals, paupers, and bedlamites if not rooted out of the genetic pool. Citizens should not choose mates for themselves." Jimmy Jampot was a citizen of Colombia, advocating for selective and forced breeding among his fellow Colombians so as to rid the city of potential future criminals and other troublesome elements. His voxophone was supposed to be featured in Bioshock Infinite, but was removed. So essentially, what this guy did, he wanted to force relationships between people that maybe weren't actually attracted to each other to try to make children that wouldn't be criminals, drug addicts, etc. So, really weird on his part and kind of messed up if you really think about it. Now, the last 2 characters that I chose for this video, you guys are going to recognize if you actually watch the original Bioshock Infinite trailer. So, in at the number 2 slot, we have Charles. So, Charles is a Colombian citizen who is known to assist Henry Saltonstall, and we'll get to him in a minute. He appears to be an elderly man who passes his time by sitting on a park bench while he feeds crows. Charles, along with Saltonstall, do not appear in the final/retail version of Bioshock Infinite, although Saltonstall is mentioned. In the gameplay demo, Saltonstall calls for Charles's assistance after he notices Booker DeWitt pick up a bolt-action sniper rifle. Charles unleashes a murder of crows on DeWitt, disorientating him long enough for Charles and Saltonstall to run to a nearby ledge. Booker then shoves Charles off the ledge, causing him to land on a freight container hanging from the skyline below. As Saltonstall escapes onto the skyline, Booker uses his telekinetic ability to grab the murder of Crow's vigor from Charles's corpse. So, I wish we could have seen him and Saltonstall in the final game, but hey, the trailer was pretty badass, so I'm glad at least we got that. And then finally at our number 1 spot, we have Henry Saltonstall. Here's a quote directly from him and his speech. "The needs of our great city of Columbia must come before the desires of any foreigner, whether they be enemy or friend. For I have looked into the future, and one path is filled with amity and gold, and the other is fraught with the perils of a hostile and alien world." Henry Saltonstall is an elderly politician in Colombia and is a member of the Founders political faction. Judging by the posters found around Colombia, he is running for councilman of Ward 6. He wears a blue sports coat and red and white vertically striped pins, similar to that of an Uncle Sam. He spots a friendly mutton chop mustache and carries a small badge with the colors of the American flag. He appears to be insane, as he is found speaking to a crowd of empty chairs about the importance of preserving the purity of Columbia. However, when the protagonist grabs a weapon, it's clear that Saltonstall is more than he appears, as his eyes, face, and voice undergo an inhuman change while his promotional button shifts into a symbolized embezzlement with the Soviet hammer and sickle. This dramatic shift may have been an early example or protoform of a tear. A moment afterward, he calls Charles to attack Booker and use Murder of Crows upon him. After DeWitt kills Charles, Saltonstall uses a skyhook and escapes. The players see Saltonstall enter a cannon across the city where he opens fire upon DeWitt. DeWitt then ziplines down to the cannon, momentarily hiding in a bar, before coming back out and destroying the cannon that Saltonstall had entered, presumably killing him. Saltonstall was cut along with Charles from the final retail game. It is still mentioned by one of the Colombian citizens as one of the founder's major politicians. The scalp of Saltonstall can be found nailed to a board in Port Prosperity of Emporia, hung with other founder leaders with their names carved above, showing he was killed by the Vox Populi during their uprising. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed today's video. As I mentioned at the start, if this video can somehow hit 100 likes, I will do a part 2 to this video. This is all on you guys. Anyways, if you actually did enjoy the video, would you kindly drop a like? That would really help me out a lot. If you're new here and want to join the Rapture family or see the Rapture family grow, would you kindly hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications to never miss a video or a live stream, and be sure to share the video with some family and friends. If you want to follow me on any of my social media accounts, those links will be down in the description below. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.